Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Hopefully, this fixes the stream problems. So, we're going to try this again. We've had some storms here in Orlando. It's been storming. So, I hope that our stream is looking better. I had to relocate. I had to come set things up with a landline. I was trying it over Wi-Fi also, and I think that didn't help. It didn't help the situation. So hopefully this is working better. I do want to apologize in advance if my voice is cracky. I did pretty much lose it last night. Did very much actually. I noticed it this morning, and it was tough. It was hard to talk. I think I sounded like kind of like a nightmare. Kind of like Freddy Krueger's nightmare. Hello there. That's how it was in the morning. It's starting to get a little better now. And it helps because I am drinking some coffee. And I'm going to change up this background video. And then we're going to keep going. And I'll just recap the things we talked about in the first part of the video. Yes, but I am back. And I thank you all for joining me. But yes, Gen Con is done. And I'm thrilled that it was such a good time. And I want to thank my patrons again for definitely helping make it all possible. Is that a little too 3D? Is that like a little bit too coming at you there? Let's try a slightly different one. That one's pretty cool though. I kind of like that one. So we got the ping pong balls flying at you. This looks like this one will be a little bit better. Nope, not that one either. Not that one. We're almost there. We're almost ready. But yeah, so we're going to talk about Gen Con, which was really, really good this year. Okay, that one's better. It's a little more relaxing, and it suits my mood right here because I'm gonna settle down, relax, and we will be taking some questions. So that is definitely gonna happen. Yes. So if I don't get to everybody's questions, I apologize. I will definitely prioritize super chat and channel members, but still, I'll try to get to as many as I can. So, Gen Con is all wrapped up. We're back. Everything went really good, minus the beginning. I had some snafus with the plane having an engine light that wasn't working the way they wanted to. Almost missed it. Almost missed the in-flight report. But, oh my goodness. That squirrel is back in my attic, and I can hear him running around. I'm going to have to get my squirrel repellent and climb up in the attic when we're done. We've had storms, and I think the squirrels run up in the attic when there's storms. It's something about my house they really like. There's just this one squirrel. All right. Anyway, so yeah, the squirrel is back. So Gen Con's over. My voice is mostly gone. I was teaching games constantly. But yes, and we're going to be just kind of talking about everything. There's a lot of things that went right, and only a few things went wrong, and not much. And it was really all that first day and the scare of not making it in time. Made it there, met a lot of people, ran into somebody wearing one of my shirts, which was really, really cool. I was absolutely blown away. It was very surreal for me. So that was really cool. And I actually had a lot of you guys. Met a lot of you guys, met a lot of people, and had a lot of handshakes, a lot of photos, a lot of just really humbling moments for me. And I want to thank you guys so much for your support. Everybody who was out there, everybody who I met, and everybody who I didn't get to meet, I apologize. Definitely have to thank my wife, too. My wife and kids have been my rock, but my wife especially. Holding everything down. She has been so incredibly supportive, and if you ever find somebody in life that is both your best friend and your rock and the love of your life, just do everything you can. Don't take them for granted. And I'm afraid that I sometimes do when I'm traveling and I'm gone for 4 days, 5 days, or whatever. And it's really, I can't even put a price on how valuable it is coming home. Just being able to come home to my family, and it's all because of her. So that's awesome. That's the best thing. And definitely it is. I wasn't gone like 12 hours and I was already homesick. So maybe it's because I'm getting older. I miss home. I miss my family. My kids are at really good ages right now. And just that's the one thing that comes with traveling. But so let's talk about Gen Con. I'll start with the in-flight report because a lot of cool things happened there. So first off, we got some news. We got some Legion news. We got Phase 2 clone troopers. We got super battle droids. They talked about them. They look awesome. And they posted all the articles too. And the funny thing is I've barely had time to really dive into the articles. So with all of the new things that were announced, I will be covering them. It won't be, day of, because all the articles were posted during Gen Con. So normally, it's one of the things I always try to do for you guys is get you like a hot takes, breakdown, reaction video, like within an hour or two, hopefully, maybe, at least same day when news like that goes live. There was just no way I was going to get that for that many articles, for that many things. So I will be working on that hopefully this week and getting that to you guys. But yeah, and then we're getting these big vehicles for Legion. The AAT and the hover tank. Now, so here's the thing. Those things are massive. And now I didn't do... I don't know if I got any good photos. I was posting some photos on Twitter, so if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw some. But I definitely did some live streaming where I was covering all of that stuff. So check some of my old live streams. I did get some video. I had an HD video of a lot of the stuff that was in the case as well. But these new, the bases they look like this. They look like as big as your head, and they have notches on the side, so it looks like they can strafe, which is going to be really, really, really fun. I can't wait to try that out. And I can't wait to get the spoiler article so we can actually see all the text in HD and in higher resolution. So that'll be really nice. But yeah, I think out of looking at them, I think I like the super battle droids a little better. Core with 2 health each. That sounds really, really fun. And then the fact that you can put a heavy weapon and a personnel on them. So you're looking at 3, 4, 5. It's a 10 health for core. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. They only range 2, but I can deal with that. With 10 health, they can just keep charging in, So that looks cool. We'll see. And then, so that was it for Legion. I think they didn't really go into a whole lot else, or maybe I'm forgetting something because my brain was mostly fried. We also got to see new X-Wing Wave 6, which was smaller than I thought. Now, in the in-flight report, they didn't really spoil everything that's part of all the reprints that are part of X-Wing Wave 6. There's really just 2 new ships, and that's the Firecracker. Not the Firecracker. The ships from Resistance, Major Von Reg's TIE Interceptor, the First Order Interceptor, and the Fireball. And it was kind of cool because one of my predictions for X-Wing is that they might release all of the racers for Star Wars Resistance and kind of release them as like a standalone game that's also fully compatible with X-Wing. I still think there's a chance they could do that because there's so many other racers, and who else is going to be flying those? They could probably figure some things out, but I would kind of like to see how they do that. And also wonder what faction they're going to put all of them in, because some of them are, one guy's like an old ex-Imperial, so is he going to be in the Empire? But then you're going to have all this whole team of aces and are all in different factions and you can't fly them together. You should be able to do races. That would be really cool. Even though that's not my favorite show, I think that's just a good option, and it might bring families and stuff like that into the game. So that would be fun. But so we got all that stuff for X-Wing. Then beyond just the 2 new ships and all the other, and there's a lot of repaints. The Houndstooth is repainted. It's going to be coming with the Nashta Pup. The A-Wing, which they really didn't focus on that much, this is a whole new... it looks to me like a whole new resculpt. The engines look bigger. The paint job is totally new. Very, very... I say totally new. It's still the blue and white A-Wing, but it's a very refined paint job. Looks good. The Ghost, we got to see the new Ghost. Now, that's not Wave 6, I believe. That's Wave 5. But we got to see it. So in my last live stream for the final day of Gen Con, the thumbnail is me focusing in on the new ships, the Red Interceptor and the Fireball. Watch that one if you want to see some close-ups of the Ghost, because it is the dockable Ghost. It has the Sheathopede docked in it, and you can see it's kind of sitting on top. There's a peg where you can just pop it out, it looks like. That makes me have some real strong predictions on where the next Phantom is going to go. It definitely does. And because I think if they can do what they did with the B-Wing, they can probably make double-hinged, wings for the Phantom 1, the attack shuttle. to fold up. Would not surprise me if they eventually did that. I can't see them re-releasing everything except the Phantom, and I can't see them re-releasing the Phantom and not having it be able to at least dock with the Ghost. So my prediction is at some point, hopefully soon, we will see a rebranded or a new attack shuttle Phantom 1 that can have foldable wings or at least somehow dock with the Ghost. So that'll be cool. Or maybe just removable wings. That's probably the easier thing, right? Wings that just straight up come off when you dock it and then you can put them back on. Like that would make sense. I would be fine with that. Because I just would like to be able to physically dock it. Did they say anything about Clone Wars Armada as a question? And I know I'm really going to focus on questions a little bit later, but yeah, that one's coming. That's coming. So then we get to Armada, and then there's the thing that kind of, and there's good reason, and I'm not trying to play favorite. I mean, obviously Armada is my favorite game that I play. Doesn't mean that I don't cover other games, but Armada is my number one. And the Starhawk drops. And also the Onager class Star Destroyer, which I hadn't really ever seen anything like that before. So I had seen some stuff kind of similar, but I think that's kind of like a new design, so it's pretty cool. But the Starhawk is the one I think that really stole the show for me. Because as a Star Wars fan, as a reader of the books, as a follow, maybe even borderline fleet junkie, I don't want to use that term. I don't know if I qualify, but definitely as a capital ship fan. This is the canon ship that everybody wanted to see what it looked like. Everybody had been drawing like mock-ups of what it might look like. Mel Miniatures even did a mock-up of one. There's a lot of speculation about the Starhawk. So the fact that it has now had its first canon appearance, the fact that it's in a Fantasy Flight game, it's going to draw a lot of people to Fantasy Flight games in general, into tabletop, into this hobby. And hopefully also taking a closer look at Armada. I expect a lot of people to buy this. I expect a lot of people to maybe say, hey, maybe I should start playing this game. That would be really, really great. And it's super exciting. Super, super exciting. So that much is great. Just the fact that we got the Starhawk now in Star Wars Armada. And there's so many things, and when they dropped the article, and I'm going to talk about this more, the new defense token is a counterattack, right? It has a name in the article, and it's late. I've been up since 2 a.m., so I am a little fried. So that's my excuse for I have some coffee here to help keep me going. But yes. So basically, and it looks like there's more tokens than a ship can take. So it looks like there's not only a counterattack token, but there's going to be ways to give counterattack tokens to other ships. We saw Krista Agate. She can give somebody a defense token. So basically, it looks like in the next round of Armada, ships may have the ability to counterattack. Now, we have to learn more about how that works. What kind of armament do you use? They said shot for shot. Do you match the same armament that's coming in? My guess is that you probably end up using your battery armament where they're attacking. But I just wonder what if it's one of those shots where they can see you but you can't see them or something like that. So it's going to be I'm just really curious how the rules for all of that are going to work. But it's exciting. It's very exciting. And I'm assuming obstructions will still work. And what happens? Do they then get to spend defense tokens, right? And if they have counterattack, how? I'm guessing it'll probably follow the squadron rules. Like, all right, but if it's a counterattack that you can't counter a counter, basically, is kind of my guess. That makes the most sense. That'd be the cleanest and easiest. But it would be kind of fun if you could counter a counter. It would be kind of fun, right? Like, that'd be. I see I'm smiling because I'm talking about all this new stuff, and it's great. And I'm glad to be home, and I haven't got and so let's keep going. So I want to tell you, I had heard whispers when I arrived at Gen Con that FFG had something in the way of Marvel. I'm not going to say who, and it was from just random people. I walked into a hotel lobby, somebody recognized me and said, hey, is it true? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody not affiliated with FFG at all. So like it had somehow leaked, and at a certain point these things will leak, right? They have to get information to publishers, to printers, they have to get information to retailers and stuff. So you tell enough people, it's going to leak, especially something big like Marvel, because Marvel was the next big thing, and I am a Marvel fan. I assume a lot of you Star Wars fans and a lot of you gamers probably also like Marvel, at least in some capacity. So the fact that FFG was getting a Marvel license was really exciting. I didn't know if it was true or not, so we were going to see. And I was thinking about it all day. I'm like, what if they did? Does that mean we're going to get a Marvel skirmish game like Legion, but with Marvel superheroes? Oh my gosh, that's immediately where my brain jumped to. So I was excited, and I didn't know if they were going to do that or not. And then Andrew Navarro's talking, and he's giving his spiel. The lights went out, the projectors went out when he was talking about the RPG, and it was so funny the way he handled it. Andrew Navarro, head of studio for Fantasy Flight Games, did a fantastic job at the in-flight brief, given the circumstances that he was given. So I just want to give a shout out to him. He did great. That was awesome. So with that said, we are. Gosh, that was good. So we're at the Marvel part, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's a card game. I'm not as much into card games, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let's look. Oh, it looks cool. It has cool art. Okay, this is the big news. It's a card game. It's an LCG. And I'm thinking, well, that's underwhelming, but maybe it'll open the door for future things. And then all of a sudden, Atomic Mass Studios comes out, and then they accidentally click too forward in the slide. He's his remote. He doesn't know how to work the remote, and he actually jumps too far ahead, and everybody sees these Marvel miniatures, and the whole hall erupts. And I am floored. I'm like, yes. And I feel bad because now here's the thing. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this. A lot of people have been asking me, what is the relationship between Atomic Mass Games and FFG? Are they a part of FFG? No, they're not. They're a different studio under Asmodee. Asmodee owns like almost everything in the world, right? But just like how Z-Man Games and Plaid Hat Games are different studios under Asmodee, so is Atomic Mass Games. Now, they're new. I guess their website wasn't even up yet. I got a video of this game and uploaded it that same night. And it was like, if people were Googling them, they were getting my videos. It's got a ton of views so far. It's doing very well. And I got the demo, the demo and introduction to the game from the head of studio for Atomic Mass Games. So that was pretty cool as well. A really nice guy. So that's all this happened. And this game looks cool. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's coming out in fall, and you're only running like 5v5. It's not exactly 5v5. You bring 10 guys, but then depending on the mission, you're not going to use them all, so you might only use half, or maybe less than half. So you're list building with a maximum of 10 and a minimum of 1, right? So it's probably somewhere in between. Very similar to how many ships you might have in X-Wing, right? That's like the feel. And it plays on a 3x3 board, and it's just, it looks just like a dream come true for me. That's what I want. I wanted a smaller miniatures game. Only problem is it's 1v1, and so I'm hoping, in theory, like for my perfect game like that, it would also have to support like true multiplayer, which is very easy for them to do there. I think they were talking about raids where you would go up against the big boss and be like 1v2, and that would be true multiplayer. But then again, it's still team-based, so we'll have to see. But looks great, looks really good. I've got videos on it, so you can check those out. It's called Crisis Protocol, Marvel Crisis Protocol. And I also have a video of the LCG, the Marvel Champions LCG. That one looks pretty good too, or Marvel Champions, the card game. But that one looks, actually, I played it, and it was fun. It was not bad. So I had expectations really low, and I was like, oh, this is enjoyable. And what I like about that game is that it comes with pre-constructed decks, because my problem with, I played LCGs in the past, and it's so much list building. You're new expansions come out very frequently, and I was always having to change my decks like every month, and it was a lot. And if it was the only game I played, I would have no problem. But considering I play so many games, I have a problem keeping up and always fine-tuning builds for like 17 different games. So the fact that it has pre-constructed decks for each hero and stuff, I'm like, let's just do that. I'll try it out. I'll just use the pre-cons. I don't necessarily have to go that in depth. I can still do some videos on a game. Like, here's the entry level, and if you like it, you can go deeper. And I think maybe my coverage for an LCG like that might kind of feel that way. So I'm open to feedback and on stuff like that. But yes. So anyway. We're getting some comments. I will be getting to your questions soon, so I just kind of want to tell the story because I'm wrapping it up because a lot of it revolved around that first day. So was also last year I didn't know about the press room, so this year I was better prepared. That's why this year was so much better, because I got to go in the press room and We got they had all like the new guys with the Keyforge decks, all the Keyforge supplies. You could get demos of the new Arkham game. I didn't bother demoing that because that's a little outside. That's a little outside of why I was there. But got some great footage of Crisis Protocol. Got a full demo of, or at least a good solid demo of Marvel the card game, Marvel Champions the card game, and got to talk to a couple of people. I even got to talk to Andrew Navarro, which was really cool. Right before I went in the press room. Now here's the important thing about the in-flight brief, and some of you guys asked me about did they say anything about Armada Clone Wars? They went to do a Q&A. Like they always do, but they turned their cameras off. So FFG was live streaming, and they didn't want to televise the Q&A. I imagine there's probably 1,000 reasons why, but I left my camera rolling. So if you go back and you see my old footage, I might actually just cut the Q&A portion out and like re-upload that. So for folks that were curious, instead of they don't have to watch like a 2-hour video, they can just watch like maybe a 20-minute video. Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, because I'm thinking of doing that if I can swing it, because YouTube didn't like, because one of the songs that played during the in-flight brief had a copyright on it, so they hit me over the head with that, which is lovely. I love that. There's nothing you can do about that. But so I talked to Andrew Navarro. My question I had a 2-part question, and there weren't that many people asking questions because a lot of people wanted to go look at other things. And that was basically, wow, my kids are being loud, so I'm sorry if you hear that. But basically, I asked them about, first off, did the difficulty and lessons learned with making something as big as the Super Star Destroyer for Armada kind of, basically, will you guys ever make something that big again? Or has that been a game changer where you've said, all right, we will never do another huge ship? And he said, well, we probably won't do something quite that big, but look at the Starhawk. That one is awfully big. So it was kind of an open, and that's about one of the best answers he could give. And at the time, it didn't resonate with me because all I had seen was a photo of the Starhawk, and I didn't realize how big it was. But it is massive. If you haven't seen the pictures that I've taken or the video that I've taken, it is absolutely massive. It's bigger than an Imperial Star Destroyer. It's the biggest large ship in the game, and it is probably about it's probably about a third of the size of the Super Star Destroyer. Maybe, and as far as mass and stuff, it's hard to tell because it's shaped differently, but it's really impressive looking. Really, maybe even half an SSD, as far as volume. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. So we've got that. I also asked him about Armada Clone Wars. And he said, I asked if they had like a timeline, or because since they didn't bring it up. And he said they are looking at fourth quarter 2020 right now. That's kind of where they're aiming. That was a kind of a rough thing. And that's probably one of the reasons they didn't want to air the own thing, because then it would be like they're advertising. It would almost be like an official statement from them advertising it on their own Twitch and YouTube. So then they might be beholden to that particular timeline. So the fact that they turn the cameras off, it's kind of more of a what in the world is all of this? But yeah, basically they're targeting the end of next year, so it's farther out than I thought. I thought it was going to be early 2020 because originally they said 2020. Now they're saying holiday 2020, and that might mean first quarter 2021. You never know. The way delays can sometimes go. And if that's true, I feel like, well, boy, is there something else coming out after the Starhawk and before the Clone Wars? Because then we'll be left with another year in between releases for Armada again. And then we're going to have to listen to everybody being like, oh, Armada's dead. And I'm like, it's not. Oh, my gosh. So anyway, so that's basically, that was the gist of that. And some people asked some other questions, some more Imperial Assault questions. And they have no plans at this time to make any more stuff. And I'm not saying they are unlikely to do another huge ship. They're unlikely to do another huge ship of the size of an SSD. The importance of that is, I look at, is with Clone Wars, there's at least 2 other ships in there that I think fit into the category of huge ships that are bigger than an ISD but smaller than a Super Star Destroyer. So the Malevolence and also the Lucrehulk. the Lucrehulk, the donut droid control ship, right? That one is, I think, big enough to be considered a huge ship, but it would not be as big as a Super Star Destroyer. So, it'd be actually probably just only a little bit larger than the Starhawk. So, of course, it'd be shaped differently too. That's basically where I'm at with that. They will probably do more huge ships. They probably just won't do them quite that big. They'll be a little bit smaller than the Super Star Destroyer to make it maybe a little bit easier for them to manufacture and ship and make their timetables for. That's kind of where that's my takeaway from my discussion. And I was able to talk to him offline a little bit also, and then thanked him for everything. I said, I don't even have a stumper question for you this year because you guys have been doing all the things we ask. So I thanked him, and so that was good. So he was a really nice guy, and that much was awesome. So then we move into the next day. I got to praise FFG for the way they handled an unfortunate situation. They did not have very many Clone Wars core sets for Legion. They didn't have many Rebellion in the Rim expansions for Armada, the two main things that I went there to get. They said they have an extremely limited amount. And I was like, oh no, is this going to be just like Star Wars Celebration where people go to the con to get this and they don't, and if they had such a limited amount, I'm like, you have two tournaments starting today. Your Legion tournament starts today and your Armada tournament starts today. And those people are not, if they're going to sell out right away, the people are going to, your tournament players, your most loyal people aren't going to be able to get them. So here's what FFG did. They went around to the tournament and they got everybody's information. They reserved one for everybody in their respective tournaments. And that is just awesome. Now, it doesn't solve 100% of problems because there was at least one case I know of. There's going to be people who play Legion and went there for the core set that didn't play the tournament, right? Like I'm one of them. I played Legion and I wasn't in the tournament. I was working instead. So there's always cases like that. Somebody's like, well, I didn't have time to do the tournament. Maybe I'm only here. There's one guy who was only here Thursday that didn't, wasn't there Friday. So that's why he didn't play the tournament and he wasn't able to get one because they sold out really, really quick Thursday. And so that's a bummer. Like no solution is perfect when they just don't get all of their shipment. What ended up happening is they did get more shipment, like 2 more times during the con. A smaller amount here, a smaller amount there. They were able to keep pushing out some product, but it still wasn't very much. I wanted to get a second core set, but on the final day, on Sunday, they only had like 7 left, and they were definitely going to sell them because it was still early. So I didn't. I had an opportunity, and I didn't. Because I didn't want to be the reason that somebody else didn't get their core set, somebody who maybe only bought a Sunday pass or something like that. So I said I'll make do with just 1 core set for now. It's going to make doing early battle reports a little bit harder, but I would rather not only have 1 and maybe have to proxy stormtroopers for clone troopers or something like that, just so that somebody else could actually get their core set. So that's kind of what is going on here. And a very similar thing happened with Rebellion in the Rim. I actually didn't even get Rebellion in the Rim the first day. They were sold out, and then they hadn't come in yet, and then I had to work, and then I couldn't get one, and they were gone. But by day 2, they had set one aside for me. So they basically, they know some of us that work for them that definitely play the games, and some of the FFG team, their staff were really all over it this year. So big thanks to Ian Cross and Matt Holland and a lot of the guys over at FFG. Really hit it out of the park as far as I'm concerned this year. They really did. Even the team leads, the other contractors, the orange shirt folks were coming around taking care of us, bringing us water and snacks, and they were just, honestly, if any of you guys are watching this, you guys did a great job, but probably none of you are. But anyway, it was a good con for that. They really took good care of us. And so then we get into like what I was doing. Like during the day, I was teaching X-Wing the first day. I was teaching Nemesis the second day. I was surprised Nemesis was there, and that's, I guess, under Asmodee's umbrella now. But I volunteered to do that one since they had it, because I love Nemesis. And then I was doing Outer Rim, and then Legion, and then some tournament support for Legion. I'm helping judge the team tournament a little bit. That was also very interesting because I don't usually have to answer a whole lot of judge questions on Legion. I do some in my local pickup games, but I was a little, it's a big burden when like somebody's like, "All right, you're the judge, you're the source. You better not get anything wrong." And I did actually get something wrong, but well, my explanation was wrong, but the ruling was correct. And so I was like, well, that's interesting. The why was ended up being wrong, but the end result was still correct. So I didn't make any colossal mistakes or anything, but it led me to a whole. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing a game. It doesn't matter how much you think you know. Keep an open mind, and you might make some mistakes. And so, maybe that will be a thing for some new type of videos, like rules we get wrong. I've certainly had. I'm gonna. All right, let me get rid of this guy. Sorry about that. I'm looking in the chat right now. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm cleaning up the chat right now. I don't know why people would do that, but I guess that's when you're. I don't know. That's when it's the internet. But that's all right. Anyway, so we are. What else are we doing? Armada is absolutely not dead. There's so much coming for Armada. We just got the biggest expansion of all time, the Superstar Destroyer. We also got Rebellion in the Rim for those of us there. I'd managed to get a copy. It's also coming out very, very soon. Then you've also got 2 new ships that are coming by the end of the year. Awesome ships with some new, new defense tokens and new mechanics that are going to totally change the game. Rebellion in the Rim is going to totally change the game. So much stuff in Rebellion in the Rim that's going to fundamentally change the game totally. We don't even need these 2 new ships for another 6 months. If they could get delayed, we would be fine because Rebellion in the Rim's got so much stuff it's going to change a lot of things. That being said, then we got Clone Wars coming. Going to be 2 more factions, and then it's happy days, man. It's happy times for Armada. We just have to accept that Armada is not going to be getting a new expansion every month like Legion. And, even X-Wing doesn't get expansions that fast. Nobody's saying, is X-Wing dead? Legion's just getting the fastest release pace. Because of the way that it works, they have a whole lot of stuff. But yes, so, anyway. That was all fun, but the judging was actually really cool. I got to talk to a lot of people, got to network with a lot of people, and that's when it was. Well, another thing that made this con better is the after I was off and I got to do a few things. I doubt many of you will know this or remember this, but in one of my live streams last year at Gen Con, I came across this game called Hewns, Hewns. And it was a mining pick. Everybody's trying to mine this alien planet for the most minerals type of game. But it had these awesome looking minis, and these miners would pick up these crystals, and they would actually deposit it in themselves, and they would be also their own storage for mines, and then you'd go back to the base. It's just really cool, and it had dozens and dozens of big, awesome alien looking miniatures. A little bit on the cartoony side, but not too much. It was just a unique look, and I was instantly captivated as soon as I saw it. I talked to them. I did a little interview with them. They said they were going to Kickstarter. And then I remembered a few months ago, I'm like, I never saw this game, and I was trying to find it. I couldn't find anything about it. I eventually found some stuff on this game. I saw them again this year at Gen Con. And I got to get some information. I have the new cards. I've got the new lightsaber nunchuck cards. I'm talking to them. I'm like, hey, how is this game doing? I would love to, if they're going to Kickstarter, do they need a review? Because this is a game I think I would love to check out and do a review on. And he's like, well, let me get the designer of the game. So he goes and gets the designer of the game. He sees me, his eyes open up, and I'm curious, and I'm like, hi, my name's Tim, and I, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I know who you are. I subscribe to your channel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been looking forward to seeing this game forever, and you're subscribed. So that was really exciting. And hopefully, we can get a review copy of that because it looks beautiful. It looks really, really beautiful. And I'm really excited about that game. So that one looks good. I have to talk to Az Drummond from Mythic, and Mythic is doing some great things. A really cool interview I had with Az, so definitely check that out. They have an app-supported game called Time of Legend Destiny is coming out. Not usually super crazy about app-supported games, but this one looks really, really cool. All these different cards have QR codes, and you scan them. And the way that they've integrated that, I think, looks pretty cool. And the Time of Legend Joan of Arc is coming back to Kickstarter. So if you've seen all my Joan of Arc stuff, you will be able to get it again, especially that huge dragon. Awesome stuff. Talked to a lot of different people. Talked to Greg from Broken Token. Talked to Kevin and Josiah Burkhartsmeyer from Game Toppers LLC. And it was nice seeing so many people. I saw some local personalities, some people from here in Orlando. Saw people that I've been talking to on social media, and actually got to shake hands and say hi. And some people quicker than others. One person I was in a desperate hurry, and I saw them. I shake their hands like, "Hey man," or we'll catch up later. It's good to see you. And then it was it. And at least there was that. So I'm just looking at the bright side here. I was like, I got to see a lot of people, got to talk to a lot of people, and I got to see a lot of fans. And I had so many of you guys come up to me and say hi and shake hands and take pictures and stuff. And that it was humbling to me. It really was. It was awesome. So thank you for that. But yeah, so it was just a really, really good. Were you disappointed? I'm gonna start jumping into questions here, and I will probably fall back out of questions when I remember there's so many things that I can talk about. I'll take a few questions and then we'll jump back in. Were you disappointed by the lack of Outer Rim news? I didn't view it as a lack of Outer Rim news. There actually kind of was a hint of Outer Rim news. Now, there were some things I wanted to see, and if you watched my Q&A, and again, I'll probably have to re-upload that. Outer Rim and Rebellion both were asked. Actually, the 3 board games that I wanted expansions for were all asked about. Twilight Imperium, Outer Rim, and Rebellion. And the basic, they were kind of non-committal about Twilight Imperium. I think that's something that is probably could be coming, but maybe not for political reasons. Which leads me to another segue, which I'll go after this. Rebellion, they seem to say that one seems like it's good exactly where it's at. So it doesn't seem like there's an expansion coming for Rebellion anytime soon. I don't think it needs it, but it could use a few little things. Like my friend Sean and I tend to agree that Grand Admiral Thrawn would be really cool in that game. That could be something as simple as a promo pack where you add 1 or 2 people to your game instead of being a full-blown expansion. That would be a fun, like micro expansions would be kind of fun for a game like that. But alternatively, I could make an argument, I could make a case for saying, how about Rebellion 2nd Edition? That would be kind of fun. This way because the expansion they have for it fixed some errata and some typos. There's some room for that. But Outer Rim was asked about, and he was like, well, we're going to give it some time. We're going to see. I think they're absolutely doing it. The game was built to have expansions. There's no question in anybody's mind that the game is going to have expansions. And they all pretty much confirmed that. What they didn't confirm is when. I think because it only came out a few months ago, if they announced an expansion already, it would almost give the impression that their game was released in a bad state. Like, oh, we had to fix the game right away, And so I think it's an optics thing. I think you want to give it a year after release before an expansion comes out. That's I think an acceptable timeline, or thereabouts. I'm not an expert on all these things, but I think you want to give it probably as close to a year as you can before that expansion comes out, so that it keeps strength in the brand. And I think that's what they will do, because that's what Andrew Navarro basically said, is we want to give it some time and make sure that if there's anything we do need to expand upon, we give the players time to absorb that and really get the best feedback we can before we commit to an expansion. And that's a good answer. It sounds good, but in my mind, I'm thinking if there's an expansion coming out, it's probably already in development. It's probably already being play tested or being printed right now. And then by the time they announce it, they'll already be 90% done with it. So they probably had to have already started on it. So, but that's just me being cynical and being like, well, but that's the reality of the thing. You can't just say like, okay, now we'll start on an expansion, because then it'll take you a year before you get it out. So you have to. It's a machine. You have to keep the gears moving. That's just the reality of the situation. But yes, I definitely think Outer Rim will get expansions, and it could really use some. I would like something that focuses a little more on space combat. I would like something that gives a little more player interaction, and something that reduces downtime. And all of those things would be good. More characters would be easy. More ships would be easy. More cards would be easy. New tiles would be fun, but maybe not necessary. I wouldn't mind even a Batu, a Black Spire Outpost tile that then expands into the unknown regions and adds a new section to the board. Maybe a whole nother a rainbow kind of effect going on. That's just things that I think would fit with the way the game is right away. I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to take some questions, and I'll try to get to a couple of them. But yes, so will you be at the next Armada tournament? I have no idea. I don't know when the next tournament is. I am scatterbrained right now. I would love to, though. I haven't been to an Armada tournament, at least a local one here in Orlando in a while. The premier level event ones, like Nova, is the next really big one. I don't think I'm going to that. But, yeah. Okay. And I do apologize for the first stream I had tonight, guys. I apologize that it was, cutting in and cutting out. I was trying a different mechanism. I guess it didn't work. And, here we are. But we got through it. I do want to show you guys some stuff. So since I'm inside now, I can show you some of the promos. So look at this. This is one of the things that's going to be going up. Spot gloss do-back card for Star Wars Legion. Oh, look at this. Can you see it? It's awesome. And you know what's cool? It's double-sided. It's got a tauntaun on the other side. I don't know why I'm making sound effects. That's pretty cool. We've got a couple of other things. We've got... Oh, where are you, my friend? We have... Oh, no. That's not it. That's not it. There's an order I want to show these in, and I got to find the right one. Oh, that's it. Okay. Let me see here. I don't want to spoil too much because I want to leave some for the reveal videos. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. We've got this guy. What is that? What's on the back of that? The same artwork, but it's Orson Krennic. So we got a Director Krennic card. He's a very popular commander, yeah. And we've got Jyn Erso, if you prefer the Rebel Scum. Rebellions are built on hope and on promos. And we got some other little goodies. And on top of that, I still have promos for X-Wing and promos for Armada. Not specifically from Gen Con, though. But I still have some of those in the thread. So we got lots of potential giveaways, and those will be I'll be giving those away normally. And I will be giving those away on Patreon. So, yeah. Let's see. From what we saw, is Armada gaining in popularity among gamers? Is Armada gaining in popularity among gamers? Yeah. I think so. I ran into it, but then again, maybe I'm not the best person to ask. Only because it's possible. It's very possible that me being somebody who is well known in the Armada community, I probably draw a lot more of the Armada players to come and say hi. So from my point of view, there was an awful lot of Armada players there. But from somebody else's point of view, it may have been very different. But based on a lot of things like SSDs selling, I saw a lot of people walking around with SSDs. I saw a Rebellion in the Rim sold out pretty much instantly every time they would get it in. There were no more on the last day, so I couldn't get like a second one for a friend or anything like that. I couldn't get like two of anything. And I would have loved to have come home with like surprise, extra Legion and extra Armada and early releases for you and you get, and we're gonna give out a Clone Wars core set and all that stuff. I would have loved to have had giveaways for all of those things. Best I can do is promos for Legion, but they are pretty cool promos though. I think you guys will like those. So hopefully you guys like that. But yes, all right. Let's see. I lost my spot. So we're going to, let's see. So I did see some people that say, yes, please upload the Q&A. So I will work on that. Did you see Eckhart's Ladder and how others used your footage? I saw how Eckhart's Ladder used my footage. I didn't see it in anywhere else. And I do want to thank Eckhart's Ladder for crediting me and using the footage. And I just really appreciate the shout out. And I hope if you guys have his ear, I don't think he follows me on social media. It was probably linked to him, but I did upload a more high-res version, after watching his video, because it was a little blurry. The live streams from the phone in the convention hall, where it's, tends to be a little on the blurry side, and I know that. I was doing the best I could. But I also recorded some video in 1080p that I could then upload later once I had a Wi-Fi connection, because that's kind of how that whole thing works. If you don't have a Wi-Fi, you can't upload it, so I had to wait until later on. So it came up, I think, the next day. But yeah, so there's more high-res footage if he is interested in that. But by this point, I'm willing to bet an awful lot of patrons of the convention have uploaded their own footage as well. I just tried to get some really good footage of it. How did the Clone Wars minis look in person? Oh, they look really good, especially the paint jobs. You know what also looked really good, and I'm going to give a shout out. I'm going to do this in another video as well. But the Terrain Studio. If you guys aren't familiar with the Terrain Studio, definitely check them out. They did all the terrain that we had for the Legion demo boards, and I did not. So there was so much going on. I was super busy, and I wanted to cover this terrain a little bit more and give them a proper shout out. And I'm going to have to go back through my footage and see if I have photos that I can really showcase. But they did the terrain boards for this stuff, and it's fantastic. So, and I actually got to meet those guys because they were playing Legion, and even there when I was judging, we talked, and it was nice to. It's nice to actually shake hands with people that you've interacted with digitally, and that's one of the things that makes these cons so great. So if you ever get the chance to go, I think it's definitely useful. You hope Ryan Kingston's fleet builder will start adding Rebellion in the Rim. Oh, yes, I hope so too. I'll have to message Ryan Kingston and see if we can get some of the stuff. I did take some high-quality photos, but yeah. Were you able to take a look at Marvel Champions LCG? I think this question is old because, yes, I talked about Marvel Champions LCG. I have a whole video up there. It's also linked on Board Game Geek. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and actually enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a fun game, and I will maybe even buy it at some point. I don't know if I really will or not. I'm not sure. If I was given a review copy, I would totally play it. But only reason I say that is because I spent a lot of money at Gen Con, and I'm freaking broke for a long time right now. Totally broke. Like, Gen Con's expensive, folks. It's expensive going to cons, and expensive having to get your Ubers and pay $20 for a salad at convention centers and all of this stuff. It's very expensive. It's not just the price of buying all the early release stuff from FFG. It's also all the expenses that go along with having to travel. So that's why I don't go to every con. I can't afford it. Simply put. So I was even talking with some sponsors while I was at Gen Con, so you may start seeing some sponsored videos and some paid videos show up, and it's one of those things I had been reluctant to do for a long time, but I think it's becoming a little bit more necessary. And pretty much everybody does. Well, not everybody, but a lot of folks in the industry do that, at least from time to time, and that's something that that I'm considering, and I think I've turned down an awful lot and holding out for stuff that I think is worth it, and that I won't have, because I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to be like, oh, buy this coffee cup, it's the best, sponsored by this coffee cup. But if I really like this coffee cup, and I actually do really like this coffee cup, hence why I'm drinking coffee out of it. But if I actually do like something, then I think that it's mutually beneficial and it helps everybody, and that's kind of where my head is at with regards to that entire discussion. So, yeah, surprised. Well, at 26K, usually, like, I from what I see for sponsorships and for people looking for board game, paid reviews and sponsors, 5 and 10K are the big thresholds. Like, I know I've seen YouTubers with 5K that have permanent sponsors, like big name sponsors too, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting, and it's just something I had turned down a lot, but I've also never sought them out, and so I've gotten to a point where I've been sought out by several folks, and I had been turning a lot of things down, and recently there's some that actually they've caught my eye, so now that we're proceeding down that path, and I'm certainly open to more sponsorships as well, but we're gonna kind of see how that goes. I don't know for sure how it's all gonna go, and it's not like I'm trying to be rich, but I would like to be able to go to more cons and do things like that, and basically funnel profit back into the channel, and because it's expensive to do a lot of the stuff that I would like to do that can't, and a lot of the stuff that I do drains me pretty hard. So I think it would be just a beneficial thing in general. So there you go. I wish Shapeways would sponsor me and send me some of that sweet Mel Miniatures Eclipse stuff. That would be all right, because there's a lot of very pricey 3D printed stuff I would love to have access to that I don't. But yes, this is also going to try and keep me going. So if you didn't, I don't know if I said it on this video or only on the first video, but I've been up since 2 a.m. or 2:30 technically, Eastern, and it's been a long day, but we're back. And all right, so let's go ahead and see. We'll take a couple more questions, and then we're going to go ahead and I gotta go. Bedtime stories for the kids, and we're gonna do that. They're playing. I should show you guys this game. I got them, but it's from Mayfair Games or Mayday Games. It's this monkey coconut game, and the monkeys have spring-loaded arms, and you tilt them backwards, and they have a coconut in the hand, and they go, and you have to launch them in the cups, and it's freaking fun. And they're little brown coconuts, and my little 3-year-old Lando, he's like, "It's poop. The monkeys are throwing poop, Daddy." And I'm like, "It's not poop. It's a coconut." But I see why you think that, because you're my son. Of course. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about my kids. They're awesome, and I was happy to be home. I was very homesick. But yes, Gen Con 2020, I'd like to be able to continue to do that. Star Wars Celebration is coming up in Anaheim, I think the end of next year. So that one is another one, and there are certain ones that are big. I might end up going to Adepticon. I have had an offer for that as well. So, somebody may be paying my way to go to Adepticon. And so if you or someone you know is interested in, working out some kind of deal, and, we'll figure that out. But, I don't know. We're going to have to see. But there's basically, and that's the point of this whole convention. There was a lot of really good opportunities. There was a lot of networking, and I got all the early release stuff. Well, I got all the stuff that I really, really wanted. I kind of wanted an extra Clone Wars core set, and there was a couple of games I wanted to get this game called Cloud Spire. I really wanted that. They had a couple extra copies on the last day, but I was like, I've already spent too much money, and I don't have the money to spend, and I don't need to put all this on credit cards when I really can't afford it. But the thing that I was almost about to do it, and the thing that stopped me is wait, I have no more room left in my suitcase. That's it. And the thing is, I was going to get another Legion Clone Wars set, because at least in that case, I could open up the box, pull out all the minis, and just put them in the suitcase individually, because I just need one box, and I could have consolidated 2 boxes into one. I had a whole plan for it, but it didn't work out, and it's probably a good thing, because now when it does launch, I can support my local game store and buy my other core set, or maybe even 2 more core sets from them, and just spread the love. And I think that's something that we should always do, is we should try to support our local game store. Even though I do pre-order from FFG quite a bit, and I have a reason for that, because so I can get it early and bring it to you guys. I won't pre-order everything from them. So Tauntaun? Okay, well, it's not like I'm only going to get one Tauntaun, so I'll order one from FFG, and then I'll get the other one from my local game store. I always try to support my game store. And you should, even if it's something small, even if your game store sells sodas or something like that, just do something. If I was going to open up a game store, I would sell coffee, or something like that. So this way people can support the store without having to buy a whole board game every time they come in, So I'll tell you guys another thing that was pretty cool that happened is, if you guys are familiar, know who Christian Peterson is, he is was the founder of FFG, or the original CEO. He created Twilight Imperium, Rebellion, Armada. He's one of the original creators of Star Wars Armada. Huge titan in the industry. And last year he stepped down. He retired, stepped down as head of studio for Fantasy Flight, and then Andrew Navarro came and took his place. And so that was a big moment. That's the only reason I was wondering if they're not going to do another TI4 expansion, because that was kind of Christian's baby, right? And alternatively, maybe not anything else for Rebellion, but yet Armada's still going. So it's one of those things. But Christian was at Gen Con. And I thought, you know, I had talked to friends. I'm like, I bet you he's probably waiting a year, and then he'll come back with like maybe his own game or his own studio. So I was wrong, but only a little bit wrong, because I saw Christian Peterson, and he had a CMON lanyard on. So he was is somehow maybe very friendly with CMON right now, who actually has some crazy good announcements. Zombicide 2nd Edition is interesting. Like, I was going to get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Zombicide, but then they announced Zombicide 2nd Edition, so the new Ninja Turtles aren't even compatible with it. It's like X-Wing 2.0 comes out, and as soon as they announce that, I'm like, oh, and here's some more 1.0 expansions. Why do I want those? You know, and they're obsolete now. You know, so I didn't get the Ninja Turtles. I've already got Hero Clicks that are better sculpts, that are more iconic, like 80s, 90s Ninja Turtles. So that was that. But they have Ankh. Ankh coming out looks like a must back. Ankh is going to be like an instant back, because it's basically in the vein of Blood Rage and Rising Sun. It's the Egyptian like third chapter in that trilogy of games, so yeah, I think that's going to be a must buy. And the minis looked great. I covered that in one of my videos, and that's coming to Kickstarter later this year, I think. Should you get Corellian Conflict or Rebellion in the Rim? Well, Rebellion in the Rim's not out yet, so get Corellian Conflict. And then when Rebellion in the Rim comes out, then get that. But if you could only choose one, I think Rebellion in the Rim, maybe, because it's got both Squadron titles, Squadron cards, and upgrade cards. So I think you're getting even more bang for your buck in that one. And yeah, I probably missed a whole lot of questions, so I apologize for that. But we're going to wind it down here soon. I'll take like 2 or 3 more. Let's see. Let's see here. I'll take just a few more, and then we'll kind of do. Let's see here. There's a lot of chat to sift through, especially with the spam that was here earlier. So apologize. I'm looking. X-Wing epic ships for the new factions. I didn't even ask about the epic ships. One thing I'll tell you about the epic ships is the new ones were on display, and there was some difference. You could tell with the engine glow, like the Raider and the CR90 had their engines painted. Oddly enough, the CR90's engines were painted yellow for the engine glow. So that one is weird. Advanced transponder net to kill intel. I think that's one of the new cards in Rebellion in the Rim that I haven't committed to memory yet. So as I'm looking at it right now, I have no idea what it does, even though I did the unboxings and stuff. Yeah, I think that's the one. Oh, that is, if I'm not correct, that's the card that says you guys can't, you can't. Basically, it counters intel. Even if you have heavy, you still stop them from attacking ships. That one looks really interesting. I don't know if it'll kill intel. I think it puts intel in a more comfortable position where it's useful but not mandatory, and I think that's fine. I'm fine with something, and I think that's the way Armada has often been. My problem with that is I really liked my whole little niche thing of using Monteferret, and I think Monteferret, the way it's worded, would still be useful against that. So, yeah, and for his cost, for a 10-point officer, I think, is it Monteferret or is it Chirano? Let me pull it. I gotta pull it up because now I'm like, wait, who is my guy? Chirano at the 10-point. Monteferret's the obstruction guy. You don't want to bump into people. Yeah. So but this is our Armada question basically. But there's a new upgrade that's going to kind of balance some of this. Yeah, I do mean Chirano. But yeah, I like using Chirano on every once in a while because people don't expect him, and I like kind of out of the box kind of stuff. And speaking of out of the box, congrats to Schmitty, who won the Armada Championship at Gen Con with a Garm Bel Iblis list. That's crazy. And there was other winners that I just don't recall everybody off the top of my head. I was a little closer to the Armada tournament. I was talking with them a little bit more than the other tournaments. So there's that. But yeah. The next big Star Wars game from FFG, Epic Legion, tiny herds of AT-ATs. I would love like a 10mm Star Wars game that had that. I've said that a couple of times, but would absolutely love that. But yeah, so that's about it. I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me tonight. And, if you're watching this afterwards, you can still ask some questions. The giveaway is still going. And Schmitty he did win. He is awesome. He was a really nice guy, too. It was nice. It's really nice putting faces to names. I got to meet an awful lot of the Armada community. And some of the people I met and didn't really know who they were. And then we talked later where same thing goes with Legion. I met some of the Legion community and talked with them and didn't even know who they were. And until we were like, oh, wait, you're so-and-so? Oh, I'm so-and-so. And yeah, so all of that is pretty funny. But yeah, that's about it for today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, have a great day.